Alright, third video of the day, LionHeartZ here, holding it together strong, unlike the Falcons, who have exited stage left at IEM Cologne in a cloud of shame as they won 0 T-side rounds in their final map on Dust 2 against Furia. Kyousuke was amazing, everybody else, not as much. And listen, as I've said in some of my previous Falcons coverage, I don't believe this means the roster is doomed. It is literally the first event. However, I am not above pointing and laughing. We're going to look at all the mistakes they made on this final map on Dust 2 and point and laugh. If you guys enjoy that kind of coverage, you can show me by leaving a like, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Help me hit 10k subs by the end of the year. Also, please take a second and follow me on twitch.tv/LionHeartZs2. I'm trying to pump up them numbers so that I can get to the point where I can co-stream more events like IEM Cologne. There's no sponsor segment today, so if you can take a second and do that, it will be in the description. That really mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for everybody who's followed over the course of the last couple of days. I've shot up like 50 followers, which is really cool, and I really appreciate it. So again, just to be clear, we're only going over this Dust 2 match as I feel like it's the most instructive. Falcons would leap out to a very strong early run of rounds because Kyousuke was frankly frying. At one point, he jumped out to a 13-1 scoreline before Furia managed to find their footing. He had an ace in the pistol round. He was hitting every headshot you possibly could. If there is for sure one positive takeaway for the Falcons is that whatever you paid for Kyousuke was probably cheap compared to his impact. This kid isn't just a prodigy, he is a prodigy among prodigies. Will he break every single rookie record like Donk did? Probably not. I think the competition and parity in the scene's a little too high for that to happen, but he's good. He is very, 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 very good. Honestly, my biggest takeaway with what went wrong with the Falcons here is whatever is going wrong, it's directly between the gray matter of Munisi and Niko. These two are in their own head. The frustration on Niko's face is palpable. Something about the expectations of this roster, how much money they're worth, something is getting to these two guys and making them play much more inconsistently than they did a year ago on G2. This is now 2 events in a row, the Major and Cologne, where Niko just shat himself to death. He had an ugly 7-15 scoreline in this game. He went 27-44 for the series with a .69 nice rating. And obviously, Niko is sacrificing a lot of spots to bet in Kyousuke. That's going to cause some issues. This is the first event. If Niko bounced back in the next event they play in, I would not be surprised. But here's the issue, guys. Maybe some of these coordination issues could have been fixed ahead of time. Maybe you guys had done a boot camp with PCs at it, where you could play the game. I don't know, for concept, I guess. Anyways, it's kind of unthinkable that you could have Kyousuke frying this hard, you win the first half 7-5, and you go on to lose this game 13-7. So what exactly went so goddamn wrong that you guys lost every single T-side round you played? Well, starting up with the pistol round, in the first couple seconds as Falcons push for long control, Fallen hits a fadeaway, fully blind P2K one-tap onto Munisi. Not the best start, you gotta work from the 4v5 now. Falcons, they push up, they smoke the cross, they start to take that side control, Kixan and Tessas combine for some trades, we whittle things down into a 3v3 before the bomb goes down. In the post-plant, Furia are gonna rotate Yuri and Molodoy around a catwalk while Kyousuke holds in CT. And as they push in to pinch onto the bomb site, Yuri hits a couple of good one-taps and Kyousuke finishes it off, with Falcons unable to secure a single kill in that post-plant effort. They go for a kind of light buy, just a couple upgraded pistols, no armor in the second, so we're just going to skip past that. It's now a 7-7 scoreline heading into the first gun round here, and Falcons are looking to generate some momentum. They've been riding high off the back of Kyousuke, so let's see how they decide to approach it. Out the gate, Molodoy is going to start the beginning of a masterful CT side, hitting a great flick onto the boosted up Munisi and Suicide, and then catching him on the rebound shot as Munisi jumps back, taking an early 5v4 lead. Munisi doesn't really do anything wrong here, he simply misses his shot and gets caught on the reposition. Molodoy hits 2 incredible tags with the op, so it's really not even his fault. It's obviously like worst case scenario for the Falcons, as now Furia can simply play back, concede mid entirely and just reinforce the bomb sites, and let Falcons decide when they want to push and where, knowing they have the man advantage. So Falcons can't even find anything, there's no one in mid to expose, there's no pick towards B to try and get. They slowly take the mid control, they re-smoke doors, they are eventually forced into a generic end state for Dust 2 T-side, where they have to just go for the cat hit. But Kyousuke and Molodoy are ready on the crossfire. Kyousuke up by Goose throws a flash over the palm tree and gets 1 kill before he goes down, and then Molodoy once again stamps his name on this round with 2 incredible shots on Kyousuke and Niko, leaving Tessus in a 1v4 that he cannot convert. Heading into the next round, Falcons are going to opt for a 4-spy, just some pistols and some armor here, and see what they can make work on the loss bonus. Kyousuke is going to take the long spawn and hit a blinder onto Fallen. Just micro adjustment onto Fallen, jumping back around the corner, perfect one-shot with the Deeg. And obviously, if you play Counter-Strike to any extent, you understand just how difficult this kind of micro adjustment in your crosshair is. This is an insane level of skill from Kyousuke to hit this shot. Just the reaction time, the mechanics, he is unbelievable in every respect of playing this game. Now, he does get caught by Molodoy, kind of swinging a little too hard, trying to get that gun back, is what it is, leaving Falcons in a 4v4. They're going to take their time and slowly rotate back into B tunnels where Niko's been lurking, and eventually they're going to iris down into a late B hit through the tons. Kyousuke is going to take 2 picks as Yuri goes down, then Niko's going to clean him up, leaving us in a 2v2 situation with just Kixan and Niko staring down the barrel of Yakindar and Molodoy. Molodoy is going to hold the attention towards the B doors, Yakindar is going to flank through tunnels, and he's going to catch the timing with both Falcons players turned around, and that's Yakindar, my GOAT, with the 2-piece to clean it up as the last man alive. Off the back of that bomb plant, we're moving into the next round, and Falcons, while they're able to buy up everything they want in terms of weapons, they're not necessarily working with all the utility they would want. And the problem is, Furia are playing very safe and not giving a lot of early advantages. Falcons are stuck in a cycle where they're having to work very slow mid-control every round, and having to opt either into the late mid to B or the late cat hit. The problem is, with some of these cat hits, I don't think they're coordinating their utility as well as they could, even when they don't have everything they need. It feels like the pressure is building on them. We're now 6 straight rounds since they put one on the board. They're desperate to try and stop this Furia momentum, but playing sloppy isn't going to help anything, right? So eventually it's going to come down into this cat take. And if we pause right here, keep in mind that both Kyousuke and Kixan still have their smokes. Let's go ahead and watch what happens, even though they have that utility in hand. They're going to wait for the cat smoke to subside and then set up for this cat push where they're just really going to flash their way out right into Molodoy's crosshair. They only throw one of their available smokes. The other one stays on Kyousuke throughout the rest of this round. They don't throw the close catwalk smoke that's supposed to bloom right on the edge of the wall and cover this angle that Molodoy is holding. They're betting on the flashes pushing them off, but the flashes don't hit. It's literally free kills for Molodoy, who takes out Kixan, takes out Niko, and then gets the third onto Tessus on top of the platform. Molodoy utterly shuts them down, but Falcons didn't do anything nearly enough to push Molodoy off the angle in the first place. It's a sloppy late cat hit when they still had all the utility they needed to make it more structured in a way they've already run similarly in this half. It just screams of desperation. And you can see how this is starting to compound mistakes. We go into the next round, and Falcons are once again in a very scary econ situation. They have to force up because the game is slipping away, and they're at max loss bonus. So they got an AK on Kyousuke, they got a scout on Munisi, and not much else after that. And after so much passive conditioning in mid, Furia, I think, jump on a very good round to get aggressive with Yakindar. He takes space into lower tunnels, and when there's no mid presence right away and there's a bunch of utility and pushing around long, Yakindar pushes up mid behind and catches a pick for free, with Niko not in a position to expect Yakindar because they have no intel around mid at this point. We cut over to long, we see Molodoy at car. Molodoy takes great advantage of this long A smoke to catch Munisi, not even knowing that a car player could be there. Now granted, in Munisi's defense, he's looking for the guy's sight. He had no intel somebody could be car. But again, it's like a lack of awareness. It's this compounding of mistakes that are starting to add up. Munisi gets caught not even checking for it, and that's yet another uncontested pick given over to Furia in an already hard to win round. Now in the scramble, Tessus does a good job of rotating around to suicide and getting Yakindar from a difficult position, but any momentum that might have generated gets erased by Molodoy rotated over to catwalk. And at that point, it's Kixan and Tessus in a 2v4 that they don't have the utility, the time, or the ability to really fight back on. And now it's 11-7, and heading into this round, I gotta point this out because this once again costs an early advantage that Falcons couldn't afford to give. Watch how Tessus sets up this smoke. That's not how you set up to smoke mid doors. Where he's aiming right now, that smoke is going to miss. And if we skip ahead a little bit, it does, and it gives Molodoy a free shot at Kixan that otherwise wouldn't be there. Now what's confusing to me is that there's 2 ways to interpret this. One, Tessus had the wrong lineup and missed the smoke. Or, as you can kind of see, Munisi takes a peek towards mid and fires a shot and misses. I don't know if this was intended to be an intentional gap in the smoke for Molodoy. Regardless, I don't like it. I don't think it's a very good strat to leave that gap for the opposing opper. And Tess says, if you're going to throw the smoke, aim a little down. You don't aim at the top of the lock, you aim at the middle of the lock. Either way, this concedes an opening pick that just shouldn't be given up. And it's just another round on this T side where Falcons are having to work from behind, and Furia very smartly aren't peeking anything. They clear out of mid. They're not peeking catwalk. They're not peeking tunnels. They're not pushing long. They're playing back knowing that Falcons have to come to them and work off this man disadvantage. It's going to come down into a late mid to B hit this time instead of catwalk, and Yukindar's going to step up and mow them down because Liquid is a cursed organization and Yukindar's back. He's back. He's always been back. And Falcons are facing map point, elimination point, tournament point, and Kyousuke is ready to send it home. I love this play. After so many passive rounds, Furia are going to play balls stapled to the wall. Kyousuke is going to play straight in the lower tunnels, hold the angle. Niko on a Tech 9 is just desperate to get anything going for his team or himself, considering he's played so terribly the second half. He's going to walk straight into a headshot from Kyousuke. Kyousuke is going to get mollied out by the Falcons players and then just walk his ass up top mid to get the rest of the kills. Like, just walks through the Molotov, takes the gunfights, kicks in and sit the fuck down, take the re-swing, looking for blood. He knows he can get Teslas on the crosshair or pick someone up, but take out Kyousuke on the long peak, and that is literally game over. Teslas, you are not the one to win this 1v4. Over the course of this second half, Falcons would get only 2 opening kills, period, with Niko and Molodoy both going 0-2 in opening attempts, while Kyousuke and Teslas went 1-0 each. Niko and Molodoy would go 2-8 and 1-8 respectively, and Kyousuke would be the only player to get close to a 1.0 rating, going 6-8. And to really bury the knife in the wound, Molodoy on the CT half would get 13 kills. The same amount of kills that Falcons got on the entirety of the T side combined. I mean, listen guys, I'm not going to lay down overly purple prose at this point. This is a disaster. There's no doubt about it. As much as I'm still in the belief that this is just the first event, and to say this Falcons roster is doomed is an over-exaggeration, but there's no doubt this is a massive failure on all fronts, and Niko and Molodoy underperformed in this series, Niko underperformed in this tournament, and Kyousuke was the only thing going right for them. Falcons made this move to try and capitalize on the fact that last year, with a weaker roster, they were the only team to nearly beat Vitality in a best of 5. And right now, they look very far from trying to realize that potential. Niko and Molodoy are putting up some huge question marks right now. They're 2 guaranteed Hall of Fame players, 2 of the very best to ever do it, but right now, they're in an unrivaled period of inconsistency and an identity crisis I think is actually preventing Niko from continuing to play at the same levels we saw at various points in 2024. Whether he needs to take some spots back, believe in himself a little bit more, maybe get some confidence back, I don't know. But Niko right now is 100% one of the biggest reasons that Falcons aren't converting wins. And because of that, their IEM Cologne run is cut short in the group stage, with Furia taking a fantastic victory. Now obviously, this video was very focused on Falcons and them falling apart, but all praise to Furia for playing a fantastic comeback series. They got battered on the first map on train 13-7, and then barely walked away from a Mirage victory 13-11 after going down to a 9-5 scoreline early on in the second half, and having to run off a pretty significant comeback just to get it to Dust 2 in the first place. And then Kyousuke was frying them in every way possible on the opening half, only for Furia from a 9-3 deficit to run off 10 straight rounds en route to victory. And the funny part is, they're not even done yet. Furia haven't made it to the playoffs. They still got to win one more game. And they're staring down the barrel of a new look G2 that feels like they're in a very similar spot that Furia are. We're going to see Sun Pius take on Molodoy, Yukindar battle with Malbs, and Heavy Goat take on Kyousuke in what's going to be a very entertaining match tomorrow. And hopefully, honestly, I want Furia in. Obviously, I'm biased against G2, but I want Furia to make back-to-back playoffs because it'd be just a really, really good storyline. We'll just have to wait and see. For Falcons, it's back to the drawing board. We'll see what you guys can do, but it's definitely an auspicious start to the Kyousuke era in this team. And hey, worst case scenario, you guys are always just one more star player away from making it work, I'm sure. If you guys enjoyed this live Cologne coverage, you can show me that by leaving a like and a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help me hit 10K subs by the end of the year. The last part of this video was filmed while I was live on my stream, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. So hopefully you jump over and give a look sometime, whether I'm playing or talking about the games. I'm trying to run up my Twitch numbers so much right now, so that way I can get the ability to co-stream more big events soon. So thank you guys so much for the recent support. Thank you as always to our channel members, Justin, JesseTiv, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Snowmy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, LBKcs, Snax Enjoyer, Crunchy Water, and zerotwocs. If you want to become a channel member, you do so. Links down below. $5 a month, you get named just like this, as well as a custom on the community Discord. Once again, follow me on Twitch TV, LionHeartZ2. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace.